Right, June 2019, question 2, database programming. First one is, it's all about plants and orders. So when you look at the actual tables, unfortunately I don't have the tables here, but we can see it displayed on the question paper. TBL plants and TBL orders, because there's plant code over here, you know that plant code is a foreign key in TBL orders table, and it's the primary key in TBL plants. So that means one plant has many orders, and one order can only be for one plant. So our plant code over here is a foreign key in this database relationship. It's important to know that first. Of course, we need to know our headings of all our fields, the field names, in other words, column headings. Plant code description, category, size of pot, color, price, which will be a real number, decimal point, and in stock is an integer. And then in the TBL orders table, you have item num, which is an auto number primary key, invoice number, characters there, and plant code obviously is matching the data type of plant code in TBL plants. Number ordered integer, number delivered integer. Let's get to the questions. So before we get to the questions, you'll see this variables, TBL plants and TBL orders. Well, we use those TBL plants and TBL orders, those names, in question 2.2, not in the SQL section. So the SQL section is the following, where we're going to fill in, I'm going to type SQL code into our interface for each question. If you double click list of rows, for instance, you'll see there is our variable SQL1, and you put your SQL statement inside those single inverted commas, and you don't have to worry about anything else. So let's get on to the questions. It says here, display all the details of the plants in the rows category in TBL plants. So display all details, meaning select star from TBL plants, where the category equals rows. So that's quite a simple one. We have a category field here, so we can see the spelling of it and everything. So we're just going to type that in. Select star. When they say display all fields, you say select star, where category equals, and then you have to put two single inverted commas around the word rows, two single inverted commas around it. See? Run the program and see if it works. Taking a while. So there it is, all the rows categories. Done. Next one. And remember that they will get more difficult as we go on. The next question is 2.1.2. Display the plant code, category, color, and size of pot. Now they give you all the fields that you have to display from TBL plants for all the plants in the flower and rose category. So we've got two categories to sort out now. In our where statement, we're going to have where category equals flower. Are we going to use an or an and? Or where category equals rose. Now you have to make sure you choose the right word there, or and, in your the where section of your SQL statement. So let's go and type all that lot in. You have to type in the items that you have to display first. Select plant code. And by the way, fortunately, with the new version, a case, in other words, upper or lower case, is not an issue. From which table is this from? Plant code, category, color, and size of pot. Which table do we see that? Well, if you look at your tables, you can see plant, code, category, size of pot, and color, all in one table, so you don't have to worry about another table. You must always double check that. Make sure you're not working with two tables. TBL plants table, where category equals two single inverted commas rows. If I put an and, that wouldn't make logical sense, because a category can't be a rose and a plant at the same time. So we use or category equals flower. Now I'm going to use flower with a no uppercase F. Another thing you must remember is that you can't say where category equals rose or flower. You have to say where category equals rose or category equals flower. Should put brackets around both of them. Let's see if it works without the brackets. Yes, it did. It worked without the brackets around, but you definitely have to say category equals rose or category equals flower. And take note, I did not have to use a capital F or a capital R in my SQL statement, so that is quite useful, because I didn't use a capital F there. And it still gave the correct results. Right, next one. 2.1.3. Use data from TBL plants. Okay, they're telling you it's one table. Okay, fine, that's helpful. To determine the average price of plants per category. Per category is a key word there, using average price. So we'll use our average function, and we will use an as statement to label our new column, our calculated field, in other words, as average price. So even say as the new field name for the calculated field, average price must be displayed in currency format. So there we go, we're going to use format. And we've done this before, so we're fine. What do we have to display? Select. We must know what we have to display. We're going to display average price, but we also have to display category, because it's got to be per category, so that category has to come in. So we're going to say select category, comma, AVG, and then the field for price is called price. Okay, but they say we must format it, so let's format, just use the word format, open brackets. There's our average price, and format it as currency, and I'm going to use a double inverted commas. And take note, I'm not worrying about capitals or not. As average price, so that's just my heading for that field, that calculation there. From TBL plants, now you have to say group by, because we have two fields, we have category and we have format, so we have to group by category, because we want the average per category. And is there anything else we have to do? No. So let's go and run it and see if that one works. That's perfectly fine. Right, next one, 2.1.4. Invoice number will be the same for all items of a specific order. So we're talking about the orders table now, which is getting scary. Display the invoice number, description, and number ordered fields of all items ordered in the TBL orders table for invoice number F2. So invoice number and description. Let's go and see where those fields are. Invoice number, description, and number ordered. Let's go and look at our tables and see. I should actually just run my code, and that'll be quicker. So let's run. And we have everything displayed here nicely, so we can see our tables when we run the program. Invoice number, number ordered, number delivered, but description is in TBL plants. So we've got to display the invoice number and number ordered, TBL orders, and then description is TBL plants. So yes, we're going to have two tables. we're not going to panic too much, because we're just going to first put in our display. Invoice number, description, number ordered. We're going to just go and put that in first. So let's do that. Select invoice num, that's the name of that table. Description, I'm just typing it in as per the question. Number ordered. Look at me being very lazy about using capitals. And we know that this comes from those fields come from two different plants, from TBL plants, comma, TBL orders. And because we're dealing with two tables, we have to immediately, in our where statement, quote the join between those two tables. And the join of those two tables is that foreign key, primary key, number, and plant code. So where TBL plants.plant code equals TBL orders dot plant code, because plant code is the field. And then the other instruction was all items ordered in orders table for invoice number F2. So we're going to say where the invoice number equals invoice num equals F2, and F2 is obviously going to be a string. So we go and, so in our where statement we've quoted the join, and then we go and do the other condition that they want us to do. Invoice num equals F2. Oops, two single inverted commas, not two doubles, and don't use the double inverted commas, the two singles for quoting a string. That is 2.14, and that's perfectly fine. Now we're going to go to the last one of SQL statements, 2.1.5. Okay, so they're saying, oh, we're using an update. That's quite nice. Number of items delivered differs sometimes from the number of items ordered. Once an outstanding delivery has been made, the user must enter the item number for the delivery that has been made. So the user is going to enter an item num into an edit box, an input box, sorry, there it is, input box, S item num, so there it is. And they're going to enter that. Modify the num delivered field to contain the same value as the number ordered field. So yeah, the number of items delivered and the number ordered fields sometimes differ, but when the delivery has been made, then the user is going to enter that item num for whatever was delivered, and then make sure that number delivered is equal to number ordered. And we're going to make a physical hard drive change. We're going to update and set. So let's get on it. So we'll say update which table, TBL orders, set number delivered equal to number ordered for which item, where item num equals, now we're going to use our quoted str plus we're joining this string, and we're going to quote this string over here to this quoted string. So we say quoted str, it's an easier way to do it, is item num. So in our where statement we want to get the item number. Now let's have a look at that field, sorry, the item num. Where is it found? Item num is the primary key of TBL orders. So it's all in TBL orders. There's nothing in the other tables in the other table, sorry. So let's run the code. So we're going to set TBL or set num delivered to equal to number ordered, where the item number is that. Update and set. You must memorize how to use update and set, or insert into, or you must use the other one, delete from. So those three. So we're going to put in any number there. I'm going to put in number 3. Oops, data type mismatching criteria. Why is this happening to me? Maybe I must watch my spelling now. Hey, by the way, there's some code here. You must not use this connect db_u. You don't ever type anything in there. It's the data module, but it's been specifically set up. I'm going to use capital letters here, just in case. Where number ordered. Maybe I spelled something wrong. Item, okay. Item num, capital I. Okay. Right, let's try it with certain code. Let's say we must test our program with number 6, item number 6. So we're going to run, I'm going to type in a 6 for S item num. Okay, update items delivered, type in a 6, click OK and hope for the best. Oops. Data type mismatch. Right. Oh, you know what it is? Silly me. It's not quoted str. Item num is actually an integer in the primary key, and I'm so glad I made this mistake. Your primary key for TBL orders, called item num, is an integer data type. It's actually an auto number, which is an integer. Therefore, you can't use quoted str like I did. You keep it as a string. So integers you convert to strings if you want them to be used in SQL statements. But this was already a string from the input box, so that's good to go. So that was the mistake, and I'm so glad I made that mistake, because now you learned something too. Well, I just forgot, and you know, we need to double check our data types. So item number is an integer. The input box returns a string, but because we are using it in an SQL statement, therefore the integers must be converted to strings, and it's already a string, so we don't have any conversion there at all. Prove that. Let's run it and check it out. And I'll type in a 6 and click OK, and database has changed, and we can go and check out item number 6. There it is, 8585. Obviously these have happened before. Right, that's that. And I'll see you for question 2.2. Just now.